Good evening. My name is Da Vinci. It's 1 o'clock in the morning on November 11th, 2009. Back from my vacation, of course, and it was great. The kids loved it. They enjoyed the beach and the pool. They mostly liked the pool. But anyways, this video is about a reply to the Modern Mystics video on basically this lady who said she clobbered the system. I read her article a while back, and basically, she's speaking nonsense. She's stating that we're under a hidden socialist. We're living under a hidden socialistic system where we can get all our desires for free if we just, game the system. And in a sense, she's right, but not quite. What I tend to say is that bankers create money out of nothing. And the truth is, yes, they do, and no, they don't, because they can't do it automatically without you, without somebody first creating this note. You have to create this note first. I owe you note for $1 or whatever amount you're going to borrow before they can create the money. So, for example, let's just say I went to the bank with this note and they give me this. So basically, there's two notes in the system. One is a legal tender note, like you can see on there. There's a legal tender, and the other is not. But the banks, they use this like legal tender anyways, because they can trade it amongst each other and sell it and so forth, or they can hold it to maturity. But when they do hold it to maturity, and you take this note and pay back the legal tender note and pay back your debt, these cancel each other out. They don't stick around in the system. They're both gone. Now, that's it. That's the end of the transaction. Now, you can... interesting thing about this, right, is that because these two are the same, there's no difference to, like, for example, if you were to go and buy something with this than if you were to buy with this. The only difference is the government is stating that this piece of paper is can be legally traded for goods and services, whilst this cannot. Now, doesn't stop anyone from accepting this as money, my note as money. However, because we've grown up to understand that this is the accepted medium of exchange, people would not be readily accept this note. But in the banker speak, they are, because they know what's going on. So, in our system, in our society, right, we want things, right? We want to get things that we desire. And when I was saying that we can technically create things for free, what you can do is really just go out and take out a loan and go and buy stuff. You created the money. You don't even really have to pay it back. It's just that you won't be able to create more loans based on the system. Right? They'll prevent you from doing that over and over again, and obviously crashing the system. So, but the bankers obviously want you to get back into good standings because they want that loan again. So they will work with you to reduce your outstanding balance to probably 30 cents on the dollar if you really negotiate hard with them. So that this clears up your debt, and then you can go back into debt again in order to create more money into the system, because this is how they make money, and this is how money gets into the system so that they can shuffle these things around all day long. Now, the bankers, they tend to obfuscate these things. Now, of course, you're saying that the system doesn't is no, it's not as simple as Mary. Hey, Da Vinci came down with this note. Can you just put in $1 into his account? Yeah, of course, it's not that simple of approach. However, if you stretch out all the process, look at it step by step by step by step, all the details, the overall general simplification of it is we just wrote $1 in your account. That's it. They make it a huge, complicated, obfuscated process so that it looks mysterious and magical, and people say, well, I don't understand how it works, but I know it just works, kind of thing. And it's to help confidence, basically. When it's a complicated process, people tend to feel like there's somebody who knows something that they don't and knows how to handle it, and okay, well, that means that it's a really good system, because there's a lot of complicated things that we just don't know how it work really, but we know that they work great, and somebody created that, and that person must be a genius, so we put our trust in that complex system. That's unfortunate for us. The bankers, they do this with everything they do. For example, synthetic CDOs. They are a complex debt instrument, basically, and it's extremely complicated. But at the end of the day, if you were to break it down to exactly what it is, that they don't sell it like that. But what it exactly is that you become insurance company of that debt. That's like sort of like taking out a policy. You know how somebody takes out a policy on their life insurance? Well, you're taking a policy. You are covering the policy on somebody's debt. If they fail to pay, you're going to cover their debt. It's a lot more complicated than that, but generally the overall process, basically at the end of the day, what you become is the insurance company. And you don't even know it. And they don't sell it like that. They sell it like, okay, well, this is a debt instrument, right, that, of these major companies, and hey, only if like 10 of them default or a certain number default do you have to pay. But in the meantime, you'll just be collecting money, and you don't have to pay us a dime. You just have to pay us the money for that, like the billions of dollars or whatever it is, if a certain number of those companies default. But you don't pay anything up front. You're like, great. Not realizing you just became an insurance company. So the bankers, they do these things to sell their products. For example, if they were to explain the truth about these two, what you're doing is really just making yourself a slave for the bank, and you have to work and produce something solid in order to pay back that debt. So, and that's what they obfuscate and prevent you from understanding, or the general public from understanding the real truth about their system.